suddenly have crystals in view. I was moving them around in the sunshine yesterday. Which you just gotta do sometimes. Hello! Welcome to today's messages. Brought to you by crystals. Okay? And their amazing ability to reflect the light. Okay? We like a good reflection. Yes. Okay. Let's tap in and tune in to the energies of today and see what is for us to consider. What messages does Spirit want for us to hear with all of our senses to marinate upon? That one and that one and those two. Okay, let's just calm down. We've got reviewing relationships. Okay, reviewing your relationships and why. We've got responsibility to yourself and others. Look at the moon in there. Look at this. Look at this. The moon and the moon and the crescent and the crescent and the crescent. Gorgeous. And, oh, look at this. Look at this. Also, it's a 31 and a 13. Beautiful. Okay. Wowza. Reviewing relationships and responsibility. Ooh. And then we have forgiveness, which is a 27. And balance. Wow. A 25. Ask and it shall be given. Spirits like, oh, you want things to know? You want things to marinate upon? Here you go. Have all the things. Okay. Okay, we will. We'll take it. And we will discern the messages from it. So the responsibility within reviewing relationships, your responsibility to self, first and foremost, right? To your nervous system. And to your recognition of yourself, who you are, what you bring to the table, what you're offering, what you're serving, what you're protecting. And I think this one may be frequency. Because what I'm picking up is your responsibility to maintain your frequency and to review your relationships, to recognize, okay, recognition, which are contributing to your frequency and which, well, Everything contributes to your frequency. But we want our frequency to be strong, right? To be high vibing. To be potent, its transition radiates trust and prepares you for the new times. So this is your recognition of yourself and the transition you are going through. Not everybody who was with you during the first part of your life are meant to be with you for the second part. And this can be sad, right? I mean, not so much for the ones that, we clearly can see, know, and understand and feel that it is done and over, right? But the ones that are nostalgic, the ones that we love for various reasons, the ones that actually inadvertently keep us tethered to versions of self that we no longer are. And so there's grief, right? There is that sense of loss. But in the great grand scheme of things, time is an illusion and all things are temporary. All things shall pass. What's going on with this? I cannot channel without my glasses. Oh, I can see clearly now. The fingerprints are gone. Right? It's like removing evidence of the past. I was here. That version of you was, but is no longer, right? Okay, we've got a powerful totem coming in with Tiwas. Yes, the eagle, the grand meister. What's a meister? Somebody who stands at the front, does this. No, that's a conductor. Okay. The eagle. That was intense. Okay. Was for me too. Justice, honor, sacrifice, loyalty, and victory. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. The sacrifice. Sacrificing the old versions of self and the people, places, and things along with them. Oh. Loyalty to self, sacrifice and loyalty are side by side. Yes, and honor, justice, and victory. Yeah. Victorious. Victorious. Okay. The righteous warrior energy. Honor is its defining quality. With this rune comes the promise of good and just outcomes. The scale will be balanced. Beautiful. Beautiful confirmations of balancing, forgiving those whose trespassed against us, right? This is also reviewing those relationships that you have, or are going to leave behind, and recognizing their beautiful, poetic contributions to your wholeness, right? Everybody from the person that pushes the button at the light that makes us stop, right, as they pass or cross the road, to someone who, a karmic person in our life that are there to teach us how to choose ourselves first and to hold on. Hold that thought. Okay. I've got this like seasonal drip or whatever. So I don't know. I blew out the thought. Okay. The Hanged One. This is your time period hanging out and assessing, reviewing, seeing where you are, allowing the shifts to happen, taking a moment to pause and reflect, right? And see what's going on. Wow. I mean, so 1331, reviewing relationships and responsibility, they're both R words. Another thing that just popped up. Okay. Forgiving the past, right? And the relationships, that's right, that we are leaving behind, have moved from, who have affected and touched us, and every one of them has. To hold regret or grudges against anyone in the past is to tie a hook or attach a tether to that time, place, person, right? Moment. And this interrupts our ability to flow and to evolve and to move beyond, right? So take the time to review, to see, to forgive, to rebalance, right? You are recognizing you're in a transitional phase. And yeah, so my dream, my prophetic dream that keeps unfolding, there was a part where I'm in the bathroom with, I think there were three of my friends, and one was still in the bathroom stall, and the other two were out with me in like the sink mirror area. And we were talking about how I had to go and we were going to miss each other. And, you know, it was sad that we had to separate or whatever. And we were trying to come up with ways of keeping in contact. But it was just a prolonging of the inevitable. We're meant to ebb and flow in and out of people's lives. Problems occur when we linger too long, right? When we hold too fast, especially when things are trying to pull away. Yes. Let it go, let it flow, right? And this holding of your vision of self, of where you're headed. You don't want to, if you have the opportunity to jump on a train, you're in the right position, you're in the right timing, you're running alongside of it, you're elevated on a platform, so it's easy for you just to hop on over. And you've got people who are running to try and catch the train, but where they are at, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it. Not to say they're never going to catch the train. It's just they're not right now. And you'd be the fool if you were to stop. I mean, you can, right? You can. This is a land of free will. You can choose to not, to stop, to wait. But we're all heading in the same direction. And think of it in this way. You getting there first, you get to prepare for their arrival, right? And this can be a beautiful, gorgeous thing because we're all meant to get there eventually. And there are some meant to get there sooner than others. That's just the way it is. This is part of the anchoring of the place. This is the setup crew, the people who arrive to make sure everything is safe and open and functioning and bright and reachable, right? Okay, so we've got this. Oh, no, so that's you. You are that person. This King of Wands is one who holds the vision, gets there charismatically, patiently, purposefully, passionately, with balance, right? Male, female, or female, no, female, male, and devil, angel, right? We've got the dichotomies balanced. We've got the portal, we've got the vision, the focus, the focus. And we've got the support of this period, right? The release, the honoring of the old, the things that no longer are serving. But there's an honoring, right? There's a recognition. There is a gratitude. Thank you for all that you have contributed to my becoming, to my journey. I love you. Goodbye, right? See you later. I'll see you later. Beautiful. Yes, because there are more gorgeous, beautiful relationships wanting to meet you where you're at, right? Who are on that train. Yes, you jump onto the train, you say goodbye to your old friends, you stand up, dust yourself off, and you're like, oh, there's people on this train. And they're like, and you're like, whoa, and they're like, yes, and you're like, oh my God. Meaning everybody's on the same page, everybody's flowing in the river at the same time, heading in the same direction, listening to the same frequency, right? Celebrating each other and exchanging notes like, oh, I dropped in, I was soaring above the train and I just dropped in from the top. And another one's like, I just teleported, all of a sudden I was on the train. And another person was like, I had to ride a horse and get bucked off onto the thing, whatever. Okay, that doesn't matter. And oh, gorgeous. Okay. Yes, it's the love train, and it's deemed, this is part of your renewal, your rebirth. Yes. But this is the sacrifice. This is the divine exchange. A door must close before another door can open, right? The old must be released for the new to be received. The dead plant taking up space in your garden bed needs to come out for you to be able to put in a new gorgeous plant in its place, right? Yes. Wow. Beautiful. Gorgeous. This is what you're keeping your eye on, the love vibe, the love tribe, the celebration, the gorgeousness, the gorgeousness. It's like, you grow up going through school and there are your classmates or, we were always, they probably always have to do this, but sat in alphabetical order for any sort of occasion, like graduation or roll call, assemblies, any of those things. And so there were always these two people whose last names, right? They were always one on one side, one on my other side. We weren't friends. We didn't hang out, call each other on the phone, but we were friendly. We'd been sat beside each other growing up from age this to that, right? And then there are your friends that you develop in the school. And when you graduate, it's time to move to a college that is in a different town, right? And so you're going to be leaving all of the familiar faces and places behind, but it is serving the greater good, right? You're sacrificing the old ways of being and doing and existing and interacting with for something else. And then when you get there, right, there's that period of like, I'm alone. I don't know anybody. Where am I going? Everything's like the unknown, right? And then you get there and then you meet people and it's a whole other thing. And it's all love. Okay. We've got something on that flipped. Connecting with your heart space, grounding in. This is your check-in card, right? To take the time to focus in, to center, to feel. Also, I'm getting that slow and steady growth. This is a recognition of growth. And like I just discovered, my blueberry bush hasn't been fruiting. And I came across this video on how to prune your blueberry bush to ensure lots of plump, juicy, ripe blueberries. So of course I'm like, what? Right? And it turns out I gotta prune it. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, I gotta cut it down. I gotta cut all these branches that's been on there forever. The hardwood, you gotta get rid of the hardwood if you want juicy fruit, because that hardwood is holding the majority and diverting the majority of the fruiting energy. And so you have to sacrifice the old to gain the bounty of the fruit juiciness. Okay. There's a transition. This is what you're learning. This is part of your transition phase where it's time to get out into it, to start cutting, to start pruning, to start trimming, to start or be well on your way within this release, this untethering. And it's recognized that this is a hard thing to do, right? It's recognizing that this is sacrifice. But you are remaining loyal to the vision, to the dream, to the goal, to the version of you that you have glimpsed, that you know is waiting for you to arrive, right? And you're gonna get there quick. You're gonna get there quick. This is contributing to your speed, right? Think about the tethers, and you're trying to move fast, but you're attached And so all this effort and not much movement because you're attached to the past. When you release that, now, oh, I'm moving and I'm barely having to make any effort because your arms are so strong. And you're used to be held back, but now you are free. And so you are just whipping. You're whipping good. Is that the right one? I have too many songs that come up in my brain. Gorgeous. Yeah, this is why. This is why. Okay, you are meant to open a portal through with your heart. Yes, portal with your heart. And be in love. Gorgeous. Be the love, be in the love, hold the love. It is so this process, this pioneering that we are doing, the getting ahead, the getting there process. This is a frequency, right? This is an energy. You're reviewing your relationships, not to judge them as good or bad, not to judge them as you love them or you love them not. This is to recognize harmony. There are those who are still in various stages of disharmony and discordance. And that affects your harmony. And so release. See it and release it. So that you get there. Okay? So that you get there. And once you are there, you are unstoppable. Okay? You might even be able to create or set up a excavator belt. And so people won't have to run and position themselves to catch a train. They can just hop onto the excavator. Is it an excavator? No, escalator. And just be brought right to the joy, to the love world, to the balanced, harmonious gorgeousness that is waiting for us all, right? This heaven on earth starts within, right? As within, so without, starts here. This is what you tend. This is what your garden, your little plot of you that you tend to is a piece of the whole. And when many pieces start to affect the whole, like moss, okay? You stick a couple clumps of moss and you give it all it needs to grow to be its gorgeous self, and eventually it takes over the whole space faster than it would if it started in one spot, because we have multiple spots. They all grow and then they connect, right? Beautiful. Okay, that's enough of those. Let's get a confirmation or two from an oracle or two. I think this is a good archetype time. Let's see what the archetypes want to add here. That one. Archetype. Oh yeah, it's a tiny book. I'm like, it's been so long, I forget what book it is. It's this one. Okay, let's see what it is first. It's the comic. Weird. That's creeping me out. The eyes of this cat are some other eyes. And there's a monocle. Okay, the comic. A 26, you say. The Joker, the Clown, the Fool. Ooh. The comic carries a remedy for all that ails this world. Beautiful. There you go. We're saved. We're healed. We're hilarious. Okay. Okay. Amid the deepest pain and suffering, there is always the potential to lift up and out of the darkness through laughter. Though dismissed by some as lowbrow or unsophisticated, this archetype actually has a highly advanced mind. Some may use the word genius, as humor requires one to see the situation from afar rather than to be swept away by the drama. The comic sees and accepts the messiness of life, using it as a material to be mixed and shaped into a potion to soothe the stressed and serious mind. They literally lighten us up. Thus, within the comic is usually the sage or the magician, working healing magic upon any audience who will lend an ear. The comic may be the archetype that heals the deep division in our world, one pun at a time. Beautiful. When in light, hilarious, ingenious, spirited, and easygoing. When dark, sarcastic, harsh, brooding, and drunk. Joy, jokes, and smiles are signs of a happy heart. Be weary of spiritual practices or teachers who leave the comic by the wayside. Yes, we need the balance, okay? Always look on the bright side of life. Yes, okay. The comic has plenty of shade to throw on others, and it can fall into shadow at the drop of a hat. Beware of their sharp claws. Yes, tact, moderation, and reading the room, right? Okay. Let's get one of these gentle chaos. Speaking of a balance, this feels like a balancing moment. That one wanted to come up. And it is, drum roll please. What is it? The home. The home is where the heart is. It is easy for me to fall in love, to find home despite never knowing where I am going. The home reminds us that we can root ourselves in safe places and safe people Even if we haven't found where we belong just yet, you may need to assess what type of shelter you are seeking. Okay, beautiful. Reviewing relationships and responsibility, right? And dear, and the dear. Two dear. Okay. Yes, yes. Kitties? Yes. Try to keep it shorter for ya. That was not a successful. They hop over the little rubbish pile back there. Beautiful. Trust and something else. Freedom. Gorgeous. View. Trust. Oh my goodness, she's so cute. Meet Safi. Trust begins as an agreement she makes with the flame in her heart. Beautiful. She agrees to let it guide her even when it beckons her deep into the night forest of the unknown. Gorgeous. When she trusts, the darkness is illuminated and the forest sparkles with her heart light. Yes. She may not know exactly where the path leads, but she trusts the enchantment of a journey born of intuition. Gorgeous. What you truly seek awaits you. Trust yourself. Step into the forest and begin your wild quest towards the longings of your soul. Beautiful. Beautiful. And freedom. Meet Lucy. She is awake even in her dreams. One of her favorite things to do is fly in a lucid dream. It is the most natural, free, and expansive feeling. You can go to outer space, imaginary lands, deep under the sea, on the top of Mount Everest, even through the earth itself, propelled simply by the power of your mind and your will. This little kitty is calling you to embrace that unbound freedom of flight and dreams. What is your wildest dream? Your craziest, most heart-expanding, joy-filled plan A? If you were completely free, what would you do? Fly like an eagle to be free. Let the spirit carry me. Gorgeous. Okay, get some love. Oh, that's a lot of love messages. Okay, take a risk. Yes, with great risk comes great reward. You're always risking. To do or not to do is both a risk. One, you risk the thing you could have discovered by not taking a risk. And the other, you risk losing something. I don't know where I was going. And a blank. Okay. Conscious breathing. Yes, 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 yes. This is about consciously directing, engaging in activities that are typically autopilot. You take control of your machine, right? We don't have to think about breathing. Breathing is something that we can just leave the rest of the things to do their thing. But the minute that you pull yourself in, pull your conscious awareness within, and deep consciously breathe, you can explore with your imagination and your will and see this life-giving oxygen that you are pulling into your body going where it needs to go to achieve maximum effect. Time to rest. Okay, trust your body when it needs extra rest. Then give it to it in any way that you can. You don't always have to be doing. I know that a lot of us have a hard time relaxing and resting because our nervous systems are so wired to react. And so to be in stillness feels foreign. You got to push through the uncomfortableness. Take a risk. Take 5 minutes, right? Start off slow. Same with when you're getting into any sort of practice. Start off slow. You want to train yourself to be used to doing the thing at a certain time. And then once you get into that mode, then you start to extend how long you do the thing for. Okay, it's worth waiting for. Yes, remember, time is an illusion. And so don't think of it in terms of that takes so much time. I mean, who has been in a state where they're like, I could take this course, but it's 2 years and that takes a long time. And then you don't. And then 2 years later, you're like, oh, if I would have done that thing, I would have had that thing by now, right? 2 years actually isn't a long time when you're on the other side of it. So don't limit yourself based on time. Go after what your heart wants and give it to it, okay? Be the smile on someone else's face by living in your authenticity, by being joyful, by looking at the bright side of life, okay? Yes. Have gratitude. Gratitude is the fuel that moves the love train, okay? Ride it, fuel it, get there. Burn it to release it, okay? That is another way that we can honor the past. There are some things that it doesn't feel right to just throw it in the garbage, right? It doesn't feel right to just recycle it. It doesn't feel right to just give it to a thrift store. So burn it, right? This is ceremony. This is acknowledgement. This is closure. This is transformation, visual release, right? Yes. And like I said, fuel your machine with your gratitude, okay? Yes. You can't have too much of that. This is the beautiful reading for today. Gorgeousness everywhere. You got this. Hop on that train and be in love. You deserve it. You got this. Yes. Okay, love and appreciate you. Bye for now.